Jimmy Capps was more than just a guitarist. He was a living legend in the world of country music. Known for his decades-long career with the Grand Ole Opry, he played alongside some of the genre's biggest names and left an indelible mark on Nashville's music scene. Yet, despite his fame within the country music community, Capps was always a private man, rarely speaking about personal conflicts or industry rivalries. That is, until recently. Before he passed, Jimmy Capps finally opened up about his longtime professional and personal relationship with Bill Anderson, the famed Whisperin' Bill. For years, rumors and whispers circulated about tension between the two, disagreements over musical decisions, and unspoken frustrations behind the scenes. Fans speculated, journalists probed, but Capps stayed mostly silent. Now, in his final reflections, he chose to break that silence, offering an honest, heartfelt, and sometimes surprising perspective. In his confession, Jimmy spoke about respect, mentorship, and the complex dynamics of working with one of country music's most prolific songwriters. He revealed moments of collaboration, creative differences, and lessons learned along the way. For those who grew up listening to country music or admired the behind-the-scenes legends who shaped it, his words provide rare insight into the human side of the industry. This story is more than just a musician reflecting on another musician. It is a glimpse into decades of Nashville history, friendships tested by fame, and the honesty that only comes when someone knows their time is limited. Jimmy Capps's final words about Bill Anderson are heartfelt, revealing, and deeply moving, a reminder that even legends have personal stories that the world rarely sees. Jimmy Capps's story begins long before the spotlight of the Grand Ole Opry shone on him. Born in 1939 in a small town in North Carolina, he was drawn to music from an early age. While other kids played outside or followed typical childhood hobbies, Jimmy picked up the guitar and found a world where he could express himself freely. By his teenage years, he was already performing locally, learning the intricacies of country music, and developing the distinctive style that would later become his signature. Early on, Jimmy was fascinated by the guitarists he heard on the radio. Legends like Chet Atkins and Hank Garland influenced his playing, but he was determined to develop his own voice. Hours of practice, dedication, and an insatiable curiosity about musical theory helped him master the instrument. Unlike some musicians who chase fame aggressively, Jimmy quietly focused on perfecting his craft, knowing that skill and consistency would open doors in time. By the late 1950s, Capps began making a name for himself in the regional music scene. His talent caught the attention of local bands, and he began playing in studios and small venues across North Carolina and nearby states. He was versatile, able to adapt to different musical styles, from traditional country to more modern Nashville sounds. This adaptability would later make him invaluable in larger productions, including his eventual work with the Grand Ole Opry. It was during this period that Jimmy first encountered the broader Nashville music scene. Though he was still relatively unknown, he learned the importance of professionalism, collaboration, and humility. Studio work demanded precision, patience, and a keen understanding of timing, skills that would define his career. Fellow musicians noted his reliability and calm demeanor, traits that would earn him respect as much as his technical skill on the guitar. In the early 1960s, Jimmy's path began to intersect with other rising stars of country music. One of these figures was Bill Anderson, already carving out a reputation as a talented songwriter and performer. Though Jimmy and Bill came from different backgrounds, Capps from small-town North Carolina and Anderson from the southern Midwest, their shared dedication to music created a mutual respect. Their paths would cross many times over the decades with collaborations, shared performances, and occasional creative disagreements that were inevitable when two highly skilled artists worked together. Jimmy later reflected on these early years as a time of learning and growth. Beyond mastering guitar technique, he learned lessons in patience, communication, and the importance of building lasting relationships in a competitive industry. These formative experiences shaped not only his musical approach, but also his philosophy toward working with others. It was during these foundational years that Jimmy developed the values he carried throughout his career: integrity, humility, and an unwavering commitment to music. While fame and recognition would eventually come, he remained grounded in the belief that musicianship was about more than accolades. It was about craft, collaboration, and leaving a legacy through the music itself. Even before his eventual work with Bill Anderson, Jimmy had established a reputation as a dependable, talented guitarist. He was respected by peers, loved by audiences, and quietly building a career that would make him a cornerstone of the Nashville music scene. These early years not only defined Jimmy as a musician, but set the stage for the complex and ultimately heartfelt relationship he would later reflect on with Bill Anderson, a relationship filled with admiration, challenges, and decades of shared musical history. Jimmy Cap's relationship with Bill Anderson began in the early 1960s, a time when Nashville was rapidly transforming into the heart of country music. Anderson, already gaining recognition as a songwriter and performer, was known for his meticulous approach to his craft. Jimmy, with his reputation for precision and versatility on guitar, quickly became a sought-after collaborator. Their paths intersected in recording studios, live performances, and countless sessions that demanded both technical skill and personal chemistry. Their first collaborations were marked by mutual respect. Jimmy admired Bill's ability to craft songs that balanced emotional depth with commercial appeal. Anderson, in turn, recognized Jimmy's talent not just as a guitarist, but as a musician who could elevate any arrangement. According to Jimmy, he was drawn to Bill's dedication to storytelling in music. Every note, every chord, and every pause in Anderson's compositions carried purpose, and Caps's sensitive guitar work complemented this vision. Yet, like any long-term collaboration, challenges arose. Creative differences occasionally led to tension, as both men were perfectionists in their own right. Jimmy recalled one session where he and Anderson disagreed over a guitar riff in a recording. While Anderson wanted a softer, subtler approach, Jimmy suggested a bolder rhythm to emphasize the song's emotion. Though the disagreement was brief, it highlighted the delicate balance required in working together, balancing respect for the songwriter's vision with the musician's instinct. These moments, Jimmy later admitted, were opportunities for growth, teaching him patience, diplomacy, and the importance of listening. Despite occasional disagreements, their professional bond strengthened over the years. Jimmy's contributions were integral to many of Bill Anderson's recordings, helping define the sound that became synonymous with Anderson's music. The chemistry between the two men was evident not only in the studio but on stage, where their mutual understanding allowed for seamless performances. Audiences might not have noticed the subtle interplay, but industry insiders recognized the unique synergy between Anderson's storytelling and Cap's guitar mastery. Beyond music, Jimmy's reflections reveal a personal dimension to their relationship. Over decades, he observed Bill's dedication to mentoring younger artists, navigating the pressures of fame, and maintaining integrity in a competitive industry. Jimmy respected Anderson not just as a collaborator, but as a figure who shaped the broader Nashville scene. Likewise, Anderson valued Jimmy's reliability, consistency, and the quiet professionalism that made him indispensable. Their relationship, Jimmy noted, was a rare combination of friendship and mutual admiration. Built on shared experiences and a deep understanding of music, Jimmy also spoke candidly about the subtle frustrations that often accompany such partnerships. Over years of collaboration, there were moments of miscommunication, unspoken grievances, and the stress of long hours in the studio. Yet, in his final reflections, Jimmy emphasized that these challenges were minor compared to the trust, creativity, and respect that defined their bond. They learned to navigate personality differences, artistic opinions, and the high stakes of a music career without allowing these tensions to undermine the partnership. In breaking his silence, Jimmy Capps painted a picture of a working relationship that was both human and extraordinary. He described moments of joy, moments of tension, and the enduring satisfaction of contributing to iconic recordings that continue to resonate with fans. By sharing his perspective, he offered rare insight into the collaborative dynamic between a legendary songwriter and one of Nashville's most talented guitarists, Jimmy's. Reflections on the beginning of his work with Bill Anderson reveal more than just musical collaboration. They show two dedicated artists navigating creativity, egos, and friendship while producing music that would stand the test of time. It was a partnership defined by respect, occasional conflict, and a shared commitment to excellence, a bond that lasted decades and left a lasting imprint on country music history. While Jimmy Caps's collaboration with Bill Anderson was productive and influential, it wasn't without its challenges. Working in Nashville's high-pressure music scene demanded precision, long hours, and an unwavering commitment to perfection. Behind the scenes, both men had to navigate personality clashes, creative differences, and the ever-present pressures of recording and performing at a professional level. Jimmy often spoke about the intensity of studio sessions with Bill. Anderson was a meticulous songwriter who wanted every note and lyric delivered exactly as he envisioned it. Jimmy, a musician with his own instincts and ideas, sometimes found this challenging. There were moments when he suggested alternative guitar arrangements, only to have Anderson politely but firmly insist on his original plan. These disagreements, though minor in the grand scheme, were part of the give and take that defined a true collaborative partnership. Another challenge was the sheer pace of the Nashville music scene. Both Jimmy and Bill were constantly working, writing, recording, and performing for multiple artists, all while maintaining their own projects. Studio sessions often ran late into the night, leaving little time for rest. Jimmy recounted evenings when he and Anderson would be perfecting a song until dawn, fueled by coffee and sheer dedication. This relentless schedule demanded stamina, patience, and focus, traits that Jimmy had honed over decades but which could still be taxing even for seasoned professionals. Travel was another source of strain. Touring, performing at the Grand Ole Opry, and attending promotional events meant that Jimmy and Bill spent significant time away from family. For Jimmy, balancing personal life with the demands of a musician's schedule was a constant struggle. In his reflections, he admitted that these pressures occasionally caused tension, not with Bill personally, but with the industry and circumstances surrounding their work. Yet, despite the challenges, both men remained committed to their craft and to each other as collaborators. Capps also spoke candidly about the subtle power dynamics in the studio. While Bill Anderson was the recognized star and songwriter, Jimmy's expertise often influenced the final sound of recordings. There were moments when his guitar choices shaped the mood or rhythm of a song in ways that Anderson later acknowledged, though rarely publicly. Jimmy's humility meant he rarely sought recognition for these contributions, but in his final reflections, he made it clear that these behind-the-scenes contributions were significant to the success of many hits. Perhaps one of the most human aspects of their collaboration was the mutual respect that allowed them to navigate disagreements without letting egos interfere. Jimmy described how, despite occasional frustration, both men understood the importance of the bigger picture, the music itself. This professionalism, paired with genuine admiration for each other's talents, created a bond that endured for decades. It wasn't always easy, but it was always rooted in a shared love of country music and a commitment to excellence. In breaking his silence, Jimmy also revealed the emotional side of their partnership. Beyond technical challenges and industry pressures, there was a deep friendship that developed over time. Late-night sessions, shared stories, and the quiet satisfaction of a song well played created a connection that went beyond music. Jimmy admitted that these personal moments were often more meaningful than public recognition or accolades. They were reminders that even in the demanding world of Nashville music, human connection and trust mattered most. Ultimately, Chapter 3 shows that the story of Jimmy Capps and Bill Anderson wasn't just about talent, it was about perseverance, compromise, and respect in a high-pressure creative environment. Jimmy's reflections reveal a side of the music industry few ever see, the challenges, the sacrifices, and the unspoken teamwork that makes iconic recordings possible. It is in these details, the struggles behind the eye, music, that fans gain a true appreciation for what it meant to work with Bill Anderson, and why Jimmy's final words carry such weight as Jimmy Capps neared the end of his life. He reflected not only on his career but also on the personal and professional relationship he had with Bill Anderson. For decades, they had worked side by side, navigating the highs and lows of Nashville's music scene. In his final reflections, Jimmy offered insight into the depth of their bond, revealing lessons that went far beyond music. Jimmy emphasized that collaboration with Bill Anderson taught him patience, humility, and the importance of listening. While creative differences sometimes arose, these moments became opportunities for growth. He learned to respect Bill's vision as a songwriter while contributing his own expertise to shape the music. The balance of deference and input, Jimmy explained, was key to producing recordings that resonated with audiences for decades. This understanding was rare in an industry often plagued by egos, and it underscored the mutual respect that defined their partnership. Beyond the technical aspects of collaboration, Jimmy spoke about the personal connection they shared. Over countless studio sessions, tours, and late-night rehearsals, a friendship developed, grounded in trust and shared experience. Jimmy recalled moments of laughter, quiet camaraderie, and mutual encouragement during stressful recording days. These experiences, he said, were as valuable as any public recognition or chart success. Their bond was built not only on music, but on mutual admiration and an understanding of the sacrifices each had made to pursue their craft. Jimmy also reflected on the challenges they had faced together. The pressures of constant recording schedules, long tours, and the public eye sometimes caused tension. Yet he noted that these difficulties never overshadowed their respect for one another. Instead, they reinforced the value of professionalism, adaptability, and shared commitment to excellence. In his final words, Jimmy described Bill Anderson not just as a collaborator, but as a mentor, a friend, and someone whose artistry inspired him to be better every day. The legacy of their partnership extends beyond personal stories. Together, they helped shape the sound of modern country music. Jimmy's guitar work became an integral part of Anderson's recordings, providing subtle yet powerful contributions that defined the tone and feel of many classic songs. Listeners may not have consciously noticed the guitar arrangements, but they played a critical role in the success and timelessness of the music. Jimmy's reflections highlight how behind-the-scenes musicians like him often leave an indelible mark, even if the general public rarely acknowledges it. Finally, Jimmy's decision to speak openly about his relationship with Bill Anderson before passing demonstrates his desire to leave a truthful account of his life and career. It was a gesture of respect, gratitude, and honesty, an acknowledgement of the profound impact their collaboration had on both men. For fans, it offered rare insight into the human side of the Nashville music scene and reminded everyone that even legendary figures have complex, deeply personal stories that rarely reach the public eye. In the end, Jimmy Caps's reflections reveal that the story of his collaboration with Bill Anderson is more than just music history. It is a testament to friendship, respect, and the enduring power of creative partnership. Through decades of work together, they navigated challenges, celebrated successes, and created music that continues to resonate. Jimmy's final words serve as a poignant reminder that the bonds formed through shared passion and dedication can leave a lasting legacy, one that transcends fame, accolades, and time itself.